That's hit well to right field. Through the wind and way out of here. Welcome back, Vinny Pasquantino, and the Royals get a leadoff walk and a 2-run home run in the first inning.
That's a great way to start, I would guess. I mean, put 2 quick points on the board there.
Hey Royals fans, it is that time again for another entry, another Royals recap presented by Royals Review. I am Jacob Milham, one half of the Royals Rundown podcast, and if you are listening to today's episode, that means that the very next episode is our full-length episode with Jeremy Greco. Remember, those come out twice a week. 95% of the time they're coming out on Sundays and Wednesdays is when we're recording them, at least. Y'all's enthusiasm might make them come out a little earlier, is what I will say. What is it? It's 4:20 out here on the East Coast. You know what that means. But unfortunately, it was the Royals who got smoked today up in Minneapolis to cap off the series against the Minnesota Twins in Target Field, falling 7-6 and only winning 1 of 4 against the AL division rival. Let's go ahead and talk about it. But first, as always, you need to go check out RoyalsReview.com. If you haven't, you're missing out. Game threads, game recaps, history pieces, analysis, prospect. We're getting closer to the MLB draft. You need to know your folks, and the team over at Royals Review has you covered. So go check that out. Keep an eye. Just go ahead and bookmark it, all right? If for nothing else, do it for the Royals rumblings, all right? A good way to make sure you are educated on all things Kansas City Royals to start off your day. All right, so where to begin with this one? I don't know. It's a toughie because, unfortunately, today, game started and I was still sitting at work. I had things to do, people to talk to, people talking to me, just trying to get the things buttoned up before the impending weekend. So I ain't gonna lie to you, I wasn't able to devote my full attention to today's game. But I will say this, when I turned off the game audio, the Royals were leading 3-0. This was the bottom of the third. You know what? The Royals seem to have Chris Paddock's number. Daniel Lynch is looking solid out there. This ain't going to go too bad. Imagine my surprise when I turn it on in the top of the 8th. And the Royals are losing 7-4. My first thought was, well, shit, what happened? My first thought was, okay, Daniel Lynch, you know what? This is his second major league start this year. Maybe he imploded. No, Daniel did solid today for a spot start. 5 innings, 5 hits, 2 earned runs, no walks and 2 strikeouts, and the damage was done on 2 home runs. Color me opinionated, but if you can keep guys off the base paths and the damage is mostly done with the long ball, especially in Target Field, that's kind of okay with me. I'm not saying it's optimal, but I just kind of shrugged my shoulders at that and said, you know what? He did okay. Didn't get a quality start, but stepping up for an ill Brady Singer, he did good. It was the next man on the mound who caused most of the damage today. Chris Stratton, a veteran off-season acquisition that we haven't talked about too much. Coming off that championship with the Texas Rangers last year, a part of that bullpen with Will Smith. He's kind of flown under the radar, I guess is the way to put it. He hasn't been bad enough to warrant hey, we need to cut him, or hey, we need to put him in the mop-up spot. Nah, it's not how it's been going for him so far. It's been, all right, we'll see if he can be like a 5-6 out sort of guy. Seems like Quatraro really wants to stretch him out into multiple innings. I don't know why. And today is just another one of those reasons why it's like, why the hell are you trying that? So he came on, he got 2 outs, but this stat line is ugly, folks. And it was ugly watching back that inning, watching back the bottom of the 6th, where he gave up 4 earned runs and walked 2 batters, gave up 3 hits, and the 2 outs he got were on 2 strikeouts because the Twins were being so overly aggressive with him having such hittable stuff in the zone. They're like, well, shit, bombs away. Let's start swinging. And honestly, his appearance doomed the Royals from that point. John Schreiber came in behind him, got that final out. Sam Long still is not allowed a base runner for the Kansas City Royals. Very impressive stuff. Had another strikeout today. Nick Anderson. I'm not a massive Nick Anderson fan, and he hasn't looked sharp for much of this season. But he didn't allow nearly the damage that Stratton did. Anderson only gave up a hit. No runs, no walks, no strikeouts, and closed out the bottom of the 8th. This has been such a uncharacteristic week of baseball for the Kansas City Royals. It really has. And I think that's what could be the most frustrating part of it. Think about it. This is one of the best defensive teams in all of baseball, according to the numbers, according to the look. Have an elite defensive infield. Kyle Isbell's still doing his Gold Glove thing out in center field. And believe it or not, Hunter Renfroe and MJ Melendez have not been defensive liabilities in the field. And errors from Bobby and Michael today brought around another score for the Twins. It's just some sloppy baseball. Like what's going on, guys? Do we get a bad hotel? There's something in the clubhouse throwing you off? What is going on here? I guess the one comforting thing is that it is uncharacteristic. All right, you're gonna see these sort of stretches from teams in a long season. You are. I get that it might sound cliche, but it's also the truth. And I don't know if it was just something against the Twins. Is this the Royals' boogeyman this year? And hell, almost every year the Royals have. I mean, you don't want to know their record in the last 20 games up in Target Field. It is disgusting. It's awful. Maybe that's what it is. But whatever it is, this isn't something that numbers or metrics or shifts or anything like that can deduct the reasoning. Like, oh well, you know what, Michael isn't doing good, or he's making this error because he's shifted too far to the right or the left. Like, nah, it's not what we're seeing. It's just a lot of mental lapses. It really is. That's not something that a coach can go and coach out of someone, or a general manager can go and trade away and find that mental fortitude for a player. A player has to go and build that themselves. And I hope that's what the Royals do as they go back to Kauffman Stadium to face off against the San Diego Padres for the weekend series. Should be a good one, but if the team that was in Target Field in the visitor side shows up in Kauffman in the home clubhouse, it's going to be an ugly game. It's going to be an ugly 3 games. It's going to be an ugly stretch, if we continue seeing this. And as Jeremy and I have talked about several times, this team looks very, very different when it goes deep in the lineup. When it goes 5, 6 deep, we saw that at times against the Tampa Bay Rays. We've seen flashes of it this season. And with Michael Massey back in the lineup and him hitting his stride, that really, stretched it from 4 to 5. And then Freddie Fermin, he had that hot streak that really stretched it from 5 to 6 and had good things rolling for the offense. And a lot of that just did not appear for the Royals in the series finale. 2 hits apiece from Maikel Garcia, Bobby Witt Jr., and Vinny Pasquantino. Garcia scoring 3 of the team's 6 runs. Meanwhile, Bobby Witt having 3 RBIs himself, and Vinny having just a great home run in the top of the first inning for his 6th of the year, scoring 2 in the process. Salvador Perez continues to look like his 2023 version, unfortunately, at the plate, going hitless, but did reach base safely with a walk and 2 strikeouts in the process. Nelson Velasquez did not follow up his 2 home run performance with another great one, instead having 2 strikeouts himself. Nick Lofton, hitless. Freddie Fermin, hitless. Adam Frazier, hitless. Did get a walk, though. Kyle Isbell, hitless. All in all, the Royals only had 7 hits today. And 6 of them came from the first 3 guys in the lineup. All right, that's not good. In case you didn't know, that is not good. I get it. Those folks are going to be down the lineup more for a reason. But when a single one of them can't produce, the only production was MJ Melendez, who had some very good plate appearances today, and finally got his 5th home run in the season in the top of the 4th with 2 outs against Chris Paddock. When that's it, that's not good. That is not a winning lineup, if you ask me. But y'all didn't ask me. Maybe you can hear an answer from manager Matt Quatraro. Coming up on the other side of the ad break, we will hear from Q. We will hear from the Royals skipper and see what he has to say following today's 7-6 series loss. Stay tuned.
A loss is a loss. I mean, it wasn't the 9th inning that's frustrating. It's the fact that we lost the game.
What did you see just kind of from Daniel Lynch on the mound as he made this last start?
Yeah, he threw the ball well. I mean, he forced contact, got him early swinging. Pitch count was really low. They got to him with the home run ball, but other than that, I mean, he threw the ball really well. Even the second home run from Jeffers was a pitch up out of the zone. He got on top of it. So all in all, I thought he threw the ball really well.
Did you consider bringing him out there for the 6th inning?
No.
Control problems with the bullpen? Has that been an issue this year, or throwing strikes?
No, not usually. Off and on a little bit, but that Stratton pitches to the corners, and today just missed a little bit, and the walks hurt us a little bit that inning.
Then you got Bobby up in a big spot again in the 9th inning. This time, comes through with a base hit. What is that? What? I'm lost. I'm fried. 7 straight days, man. That's like you said Monday. That's the guy you want up in that situation. You take it every time, right?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, you think back earlier in the game, he's a foot or 2 away from a homer for a double. That's a run on the board. It's a game that you can go back and think about all the inches here or feet here, whatever. I mean, he's up in a big spot for us. We love it. He gets a big base hit there. We got Vinny up. We really like our chances there too.
Yes, one good sign from today, or from the series takeaways. Seems like some of the bats that have been struggling are starting to come back to life now. MJ with three really good at bats today, 4 actually the walk.
Yeah, he swung the bat well. I know he's working hard. I mean, he certainly hasn't performed to his standards the way that he wants to, and he's been frustrated, but he's putting the work in. He's working, those guys are working their butt off with him, and so we expect that he'll bounce back.
What kind of led to allowing Stratton to face Correa there in Essex?
Yeah, we have to get outs. I mean, we have confidence in Stratton. When he's in the zone, he gets outs.
And last one, going at the end of this long stretch you guys had on the road, going back home, how do you just kind of evaluate this road trip for you?
Yeah, we played well. I mean, we need to tighten up a little bit, but overall, we're in really competitive games with 2 really good teams.
Alrighty, y'all. Let's go ahead and get on out of here after we talk about your Spotify Q&A responses. So, if this is your first time or this is your 10th time listening, thank you so much for still being tuned in. And point is, we want to hear from you guys. And to help facilitate that, Spotify has polls and questions and answers where you can go participate in it. And after each Q&A, if you respond to it, I read your response on air in the following episode. So let's go back to May 28th, the last Royals recap we had. Jason Merling, I hope I said that right, Jason, says, good to see Cy Lugo tonight, and the offense bounced back nicely. Does it look like they'll bring someone up to cover Pasquatch? Maybe Salvi to first and add another catcher? You know what, Jason? That was the approach that I think they would have taken if, if Vinny was going to be on the sidelines for a little bit longer. We saw him back in the lineup today, and he looked healthy today. So as long as something else doesn't happen, I think Vinny's good on the 26-man roster. But I do like that idea of, instead of bringing up a Nick Prado or a CJ Alexander, you look to the catching core and see what they have there. You have Austin Nola in this organization for his familiarity with Michael Wacha and Seth Lugo, and he's on the 40-man roster. Would you bring him up? Or I had a piece on Kings of Kaufman last weekend talking about how I still believe in Logan Porter and how he should be on this 40-man roster sooner rather than later. So I like your thinking there, Jason. Good stuff. Billy Christensen, goodness gracious. Sorry, Billy. Says, sloppy play in left field can add more pressure to the pitching staff by giving the opponent extra outs. And yeah, Jeremy and I talked about that ad nauseum last night. It was, well, I'll let Jeremy explain it best. Go check out that episode, Billy. I think you'll like to hear what he has to say on that. And then Mind the Mooses says, if I'm looking at the numbers right, MJ only has 9 at-bats in the last week. If he's not going to play, which I get, then why isn't he in Omaha to get things figured out? Hopefully Vinny is okay. And Moose, I was thinking something similar. Ever since we saw such a... I'm trying to think. I think I first noticed it with Hunter Dozier. How he was getting every day. He was the everyday guy there at third base or wherever in the field. And just like all of a sudden, his workload got cut in half. From that half got cut in half again. And then just continued diminishing until he was off of this roster and out of this organization. And that trend is followed for a few other guys that the Royals under Quatraro and Piccolo have moved on from. So I'm not saying the Royals are gonna, cut MJ Melendez. It's not a smart move. But what I am saying is his lessened workload ahead of today does make me believe that his standing in Kansas City is not very strong anymore. Not as strong as it was to start off the season. And how aggressive he has been at the plate the past 2 games further makes me believe that he knows that. He is swinging for the fences. He is trying to change his outlook with each time he makes contact with the baseball. So this is definitely something to keep an eye on. Very, very good eye there, Moose. All right, I'm going to go ahead and get on out of here. Maybe I sound like a nerd, but I got some college schoolwork to go do, so I got to finish that up. If you're listening to this after I drop it, make sure to go check out the Omaha Storm Chasers, who are playing 2 games tonight, so you can watch them for your evening baseball fix. First pitch should be at 5:35. Well, hold on. Here, I'm supposed to be the professional and have everything pulled up. Let's go to Nicholas Batters. First pitch for Game 1 of today's doubleheader is at 4:35 Central and 5:35 Eastern Standard Time from Victory Field in Indianapolis, with Game 2 following approximately 30 minutes after the conclusion of Game 1. If you don't want to watch it for the doubleheader, that's fine. Watch it for Chandler Champlain, who will be making will be starting in the first game of the doubleheader for the Storm Chasers. All right, y'all, that's going to do it for today's Royals recap. Once again, my name is Jacob Milham. You can follow me on social media. You can hit me up on email. All that info is down in the podcast description below. Thank you all for joining me this afternoon, and until next time, go Royals!